NFL Network presents America's Game, a countdown of the 20 greatest Super Bowl champions. And now, number 5. The Dallas Cowboys achieved the height of their popularity in the 1970s when they became known as America's team. But by 1988, America's team had become the worst team in the NFL. That season marked the end of an era, Tom Landry's 29-year run as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we lost so much that season. We lost, and I would cry after every loss. We just kept losing and losing and losing. And it seemed to me like everybody was okay with it. I would cry, guys would walk by and say, hey, don't worry about it, pick up the check Tuesday.
Clearly, the culture in Dallas needed to change. And on February 25, 1989, Arkansas businessman Jerry Jones purchased the Cowboys from Bum Bright. He promised to rebuild America's team.
I just want to say this. There is no substitute for winning. I know that's a cliche, but we must win. We will win. Win is the name of the game.
Jones dismissed Landry, a very unpopular move at the time, and replaced him with former college teammate Jimmy Johnson.
Landry had been so successful for so many years, I don't think anybody considered there being a life after Tom Landry.
I know that there could have been better circumstances as far as me coming into this position, but I would hope that people would be as excited about this organization, about this football team as what I am.
Johnson had never coached at the pro level, but he won a college championship with the Miami Hurricanes in 1988. His star receiver at Miami was number 47, Michael Irvin.
I had won a championship with Jimmy Johnson. So Jimmy did call me and say to me, I'm coming into Dallas. I pulled out that list of everybody that told me don't worry about it long as you pick up the check. And I said, Jimmy, he has to go, he has to go. He's not here to win, he's not here to win. I knew once we made that change, things would change.
On about, let's go, Mike, go!
The problem for Johnson was that the team he inherited simply wasn't very good.
Welcome to Valley Ranch, Coach.
It was a roster short on self-starters like Michael Irvin and number 40, Bill Bates. But Johnson and Jones had an opportunity to remake the franchise with the number 1 pick in the 1989 draft. Their target was UCLA quarterback Troy Aikman, but that was nothing new. Johnson tried to recruit Aikman out of high school, and then again 2 years later when Aikman decided to transfer from Oklahoma. Both times, Johnson failed.
After turning Jimmy Johnson down twice, I have no choice in this one if they select me. And I didn't know how bad the Cowboys were, and I didn't know how good Jimmy ultimately was. I just knew that, man, this thing keeps coming back. I guess it's just fate. I'm going to play for Jimmy Johnson.
That summer, Aikman got his first glimpse of life under Jimmy Johnson.
Be under control. Be under control. Keep those hands up. Looking at me. Looking at me. I can't.
So we showed up for that last camp, and we had a running test. And one of our young players, had asthma. and made it through about halfway through the running drill and just collapsed.
And Jimmy said he could never win with a guy that's not conditioned because he used to always say fatigue will make a coward of you.
And so Jimmy, who was really on a tirade that entire day anyway, got in this guy's face and wanted to know what the problem was. You know, he'd had 3 or 4 months to prepare for this running test, and the young player said that he had asthma. And Jimmy quickly directed him over to the asthma field, and he never played a snap for the Dallas Cowboys.
He kind of made us all feel like if we didn't do our job, that someone else was going to do it for us.
Get some run support now today, huh, Kenny?
Yeah.
Working down. Start filling those lanes a little bit.
Yeah, I got to change my footwork now.
Oh, you'll get it.
He was like, I love you as long as you're making tackles. As soon as you stop making tackles, I don't love you anymore. You know?
To Johnson, it was natural selection. The sick and the weak were left behind, and older veterans like Randy White and Danny White were forced to retire. The end result was a team high on enthusiasm but low on talent. A team that would lose 15 games in 1989. The rebuilding of America's team had just begun. In Dallas, the 1989 season got off to a horrible start. The young Cowboys had trouble finding their way, and they dropped their first 5 games. Jimmy Johnson realized his young team was going nowhere fast. So on October 13th, he and owner Jerry Jones made a move that would alter the course of the franchise. They traded their only Pro Bowl player, running back Herschel Walker.
I find out that we had just traded the only guy that we had on our team that was really any good. And I couldn't believe it.
I don't know what we're going to get, what players we're going to receive. I don't know where our offense is going right now, or what you're going to see on Sunday.
In return for Walker, the Cowboys received 5 journeyman players, but more importantly, 7 high draft picks.
One agent said it's the biggest trade he has ever seen in the NFL. As one owner said, it's a great train robbery. But whatever it is, we're happy with it.
I couldn't understand it at the time, and I'm glad they viewed it differently, because that certainly, got us over the hump in a hurry.
Walker accomplished little in 2.5 seasons in Minnesota, while the Cowboys' bounty of draft picks became the foundation for a dynasty. In 1990, the first of those picks was used to select Walker's replacement, Emmitt Smith.
And I remember first walking in with the MC Hammer type pants, and I thought, where do we get this guy? I was like, man, this is a small guy. But when he took that football field, it was like he turned into Superman. He was an incredible talent.
Let the mind control the body, not the body controlling the mind. Right, Emmett?
That's it.
Johnson had a keen eye for talent, and his #1 goal in the draft was to improve team speed.
I got you there. Boom! All right. You know I'll let you do that. What we're really looking for is speed and quickness. Good, right there, backside. All right, good job, Biggs. Good quickness there. Good quickness.
In just 2 years, the Cowboys were transformed from old and slow to young and fast, and they started to win.
Harper got away, down to the 10, he'll score.
Yo, man, speed, unbelievable speed.
Draw play, Smith up the middle, bounces at the 10, to the 5, cut to the right, cut to the left.
Oh, no!
Emmitt Smith.
Oh, yes, yes. Unbelievable run.
What did you like?
The Cowboys went 7-9 in 1990, and Jimmy Johnson was named Coach of the Year.
47 guys believing, 47 guys hanging in there for 4 quarters. Hey, super job, because you could have gotten down, when they got on top of you, and you could have said, oh, here it goes again. But those days are over with.
In 1991, Dallas improved to 11-5 and won a playoff game. All the pieces were in place for a Cowboys run in 1992.
Emmett was driving home, I think. And he just called to say, I love you, man. And we are going to do this next year. And I said, yeah, yes, we are. You know, the season's over. And everybody's ready to scatter and get away from football. And all we were thinking about, man, I can't wait till next year gets started. There's no doubt we saw what we could be that early.
In the spring of 1992, the Cowboys made a huge addition to their defense. They acquired Pro Bowl defensive end Charles Haley in a trade with the San Francisco 49ers.
Charles came into our team already having 2 Super Bowls. That was something that we couldn't even imagine what a Super Bowl was like.
Charles Haley really made the difference for our football team in raising the expectation for all of us of what it took to be a champion.
All right, Charles, that's your play all the way now.
But there was a reason the 49ers were willing to part with him.
Psycho problems.
He's crazy.
Charles is crazy for real, you know?
Hey, what you ought to do, you ought to call timeout. Don't go to neither side. I go in the middle of the damn field. Get down on both knees and Lord help me, please.
He'll walk up to you and kind of punch you. He'll grab you in your private area, you know, and just kind of pull you around. He just does things to aggravate you.
Way to dog him. Way to use him as a piss boy.
The great thing about Charles Haley was that it didn't matter who you were. He was going to ride you pretty hard.
George, I hit your mother and rub my up on you and call you my.
He wanted to see who could take it and who couldn't take it.
Emmett want to try to joke you, Kevin. Let's joke Emmett.
And God forbid you showed any sign of weakness because he was going to be on you for the rest of the season.
Haley pushed the young Cowboys, and despite their youth, the team was relaxed and confident heading into the '92 season.
Oh, Michael, 2 hands. Don't be cute, don't be pretty, be good. That's right, 2 hands counts the same as 1 hand.
I mean, it was funny because, you know, most of the things you read, like Dallas may be a year away. And we were like, what are they talking about?
If you went through the year virtually injury-free and did not make the playoffs, would that be a crushing blow?
It won't happen. We'll be in the playoffs.
That swagger was tested on opening day against the defending champion Washington Redskins.
I remember walking in, and Jimmy would always talk about it, man. He said it many a times. When you're fighting a gorilla, you walk up to that gorilla, and you bust him in the mouth.
In their first 2 games, the Cowboys defeated the Redskins and the Giants, the last 2 Super Bowl champions.
Deep ball left side, caught it forward, spinning away Urban at the 15 to the 10, toward the goal line. Touchdown, Michael Urban.
Hey, super job of believing, just like what we talked about in practice. When you ever go after a big gorilla, you don't ever hit him lightly. You hit him with everything you got. Yeah!
After beating the beasts of the East, the Cowboys found it difficult to get up for the lowly Cardinals. That was before cornerback Lorenzo Lynch talked trash to Michael Irvin.
This was little baby Arizona. We were ready to play, but Lynch really helped out a lot.
We gonna get him. We gonna beat him up.
He came walking by. Hey, Michael, what's up? What's up, man? I'm here. I'm going to be here all day. I'm going to be on you all day. And I was like, okay, Arizona's in town. Thank you for waking me up. I appreciate that. Second play of the game. Boop. Quick out.
Throws the ball out. Nice catch. Urban on the left sideline, escaping to the 25.
I go 87 yards for a touchdown.
And Urban to the 25. And Urban gets a block from Novacek to the 5. And Michael Urban goes 87 yards. Touchdown, Cowboys.
You know I'm running looking for Lynch. Where were you, buddy? I thought you were going to be with me. I laid into this guy all game long. I go back and I catch another touchdown.
Deep ball on a hitch to Irvin, and it's caught. Touchdown. Thank you very much yet again.
I ended up catching 3 touchdowns. I had like 200 yards or something. And I was like, tell your coach to get you out of this game. You're getting killed in here.
If you were on another team, you probably did not like Michael Irvin because he was so demonstrative out on the field. He just really would rub it in whenever he made a play.
What I do? Make plays.
Nothing but make plays, baby.
I played against Michael in college when I was at OU and he was at the University of Miami, and I wasn't real crazy about Michael Irvin. But I will tell you, you could not have a better teammate. He showed up every day in practice as if he was running routes in Super Bowls. He was competitive. He challenged guys. He wanted the ball at the end of the game.
Third down, just get me the rock. Actually, I don't care what play, get me the rock, I'll take care of it.
He was the emotional lightning rod of our team.
We don't let each other down. We're not letting each other down. Not this one, all right? Let's go. Everybody, let's go.
Dallas won 5 of its first 6 games, propelled by its star-studded threesome on offense: Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, and Michael Irvin.
When Michael, Troy, and Emmett were in the heyday, we all got a spot on that bench and watched that big jumbotron. We were getting our water, but we were peeking up, watching to see what they were doing, because we knew they were doing something special.
Aikman handoff, Smith coming right, trying to outrun the coverage, makes a cut, gets it. Oh, he's still going. Oh, he is. He's going to score. He's got the 5. It's a touchdown. Absolutely ridiculous. It should never have happened, but Emmitt Smith does the impossible.
That is the greatest one I've ever seen in my life. Unbelievable.
The Cowboys had the league's leading rusher, 2nd leading receiver, and the 3rd highest rated passer, all on the same team.
There have been plays where I've run a route and I couldn't see the ball. And I put my hands up and the ball hit me right in the hands. And I'm telling you, if I closed my eyes to run 10 routes, I believe 8 of them would have hit me right in the hands.
It couldn't have been thrown any better.
Together they were known as the Triplets, and they helped make the Cowboys America's team again. In 1992, the Cowboys' popularity grew with every win.
The Cowboys are back.
Showtime.
Every game was a show, and every player a showman. How else to explain number 29, Kenny Gant, a special teams player from tiny Albany State, who became known as the Shark?
Wasn't that awesome? The kickoff team would line up on the 50-yard line, and Kenny Gant would be all the way back in the end zone, back there doing his little shark. By about the 3rd game, they're playing shark music. It became a phenomenon.
He would get hit sometime, not make a tackle, still get up and do his shark thing. You know, I said, Kenny, you just got busted in the mouth. But he took that spotlight and ran with it.
By week 8, the Cowboys were the main event. 91,000 fans packed the normally half-empty LA Coliseum, many rooting for Dallas.
I can't believe it. Look at all that blue up there. Not moving either.
Like, this is America's team, you know, and we were coming back to what made it America's team.
Aikman handoff, Smith up the middle, breaks a tackle, comes right, punches it in. Touchdown, Cowboy. Emmitt Smith breaking a beheading tackle.
We were putting it back on that pedestal where it belonged.
At 6-1, the young Cowboys were on top of the world.
Going home, getting that Mercedes, convertible Mercedes, let back to the top, kick up the music, and smile all the way down the highway.
I used to say we're like the Beatles, traveling. Stuff like coming home from a game, on the road, going to my house, and people are at your house. Women are in your house. What is this? I'm a big fan of yours, and where's your clothes? What are you doing? You know, it got to being like a traveling rock band.
In fact, during the 1992 season, 11 different Cowboys had their own weekly television or radio program.
So many years where the Cowboys have been at
Hello and welcome again to the Jimmy Johnson Show. My name is...
You'd be better served naming the guys that didn't have one. You know, we had a number of guys that took advantage of their celebrity, I guess you could say.
Troy Aikman was one of those celebrities. As the quarterback of America's team, he was a natural draw. Troy even appeared in a country music video with the band Shenandoah.
I didn't sing in that, but I did sing on a I wish I hadn't have, but I did sing on a country CD. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Driving down 66, this old pickup truck and me, and your memory.
We all knew that Troy couldn't sing. But anytime you can throw that ball the way that you throw it and win the games the way you do, all of a sudden your voice sounds a whole lot better.
You still think of Oklahoma nights.
And, you know, the great thing about it was Jimmy, he was fine with all that. Jimmy wanted guys loose. He wanted them confident. He wanted them out having fun. And, you know, Lord knows he was. So I think that was key.
Johnson gave his stars a little leeway, but not regarding the schedule. Michael Irvin learned this lesson when he arrived late for a team flight to Detroit in Week 10.
The plane trip. Yeah, I missed the plane.
We were scheduled to depart, I believe, at 12 o'clock, and they said, well, we don't have everybody. And Jimmy said, who's not here? They said, Michael Irvin's not here. He said, shut the door, we're leaving. They said, well, he just pulled up in the parking lot. He's on his way to the plane now. He said, I said, shut the door, we're taking off. And that was that. We had just left Michael out on the tarmac. You know, we knew that Michael was going to get there, but Jimmy was extremely upset.
He was hot. You can always tell when he's hot. He can't stop moving his lip like, Michael, you're one of my star players. I'm disappointed in you. And you're not starting.
Michael's punishment was sitting out the first series, which was 3 plays and a punt, and then he was right back out on the field. Because one thing about Jimmy, he knew when a player could help us win, and he was going to get him out on the field, and then we were going to deal with the punishment later in the week.
Irvin played and helped the Cowboys improve to 8-1.
Deep ball. Oh, man, is this man wide open. Irvin caught it at the 15, to the 5, stretches over the goal line. Touchdown, Michael Irvin.
Jimmy Johnson would have to work twice as hard to keep his young team focused in the second half of the season.
Well, this is why you play the game. You're playing games to find out who are the contenders and who are the pretenders.
The Cowboys were definitely contenders, and they were making it look easy. They beat the Cardinals and Broncos and blew out the Giants on Thanksgiving.
To the 10, Smith to the goal line. Emmitt Smith. Happy Thanksgiving, Emmitt. This one's over.
They were getting fat on success, and it finally caught up with them in Washington.
Oh, man. Well, it's going to be a wild one today, I have a feeling.
At 11-2, Dallas blew a chance to seal the NFC East title.
Pass, he's in the end zone. He gets the ball batted, gets grabbed, sacked there. Grabbed in the end zone, the ball still loose, grabbed by the defense. What's the call? Might be a touchdown for the Redskins. Let's see. It is. Touchdown, Washington Redskins defense.
On the plane ride home, Jimmy Johnson felt the players weren't taking the loss as hard as he was.
It was one of those flight homes that you better not say a word. You better not make a noise because you just might not be here tomorrow.
And he walked back and he jumped on. I don't know what I was doing. He jumped on me. Sit down, Michael. Don't you move.
He just went crazy. You know, he was just all in my face, and I wasn't quite sure how to do it, you know. No one talks to you like that unless they're your dad.
See, that's you can't lose here. Jimmy made it so uncomfortable losing. They made him miserable.
In the regular season finale against Chicago, Johnson kept the pressure on, despite a Cowboys blowout.
25, he's got the 20, he's got the 10, he's got the touchdown, and he's got the NFL rushing championship for the second year in a row.
The Cowboys had wrapped up 13 wins, the most in franchise history. But a sloppy fourth quarter, including 2 fumbles by Emmett's backup, Curvin Richards, put the head coach in a foul mood.
Curvin Richards fumbled, Jimmy grabs him. Don't you fumble this ball again. You fumble this ball again, and he goes and fumble again. We have this game won. We killed Chicago. But Jimmy's still serious. No letting down here. He cut the guy the next day. And Curvin, you have to pay him. He'll get his ring. But Jimmy was sending a message. It's not to be taken lightly.
Johnson wanted his players focused, and he drove that point home in the locker room, where Jerry Jones had invited a special guest, Saudi Arabian ambassador, Prince Bandar bin Sultan.
So we finished 13-3. It was the best in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. And Jimmy was all set to give us that speech that we as players really wanted to hear. And about the time he started into it, the door opened up to the locker room, and it was Jerry Jones walking in with Prince Bandar. Jimmy just kind of dropped his head and stopped, and he said, it's been a nice season. We'll see you next week.
I remember meeting the Prince and everything, but I didn't have a problem with it. I loved that Jerry was that proud of his football team. I loved that he wanted to show them off. I loved that he wanted to be around us. I loved that it mattered to him. I still love that about him now.
Both men wanted the same thing, a Dallas championship. And it was there for the taking at the start of the playoffs.
Cowboy defense, y'all don't forget about them boys, okay? Don't forget about us, please.
All season, the Cowboys' top-ranked defense was largely overlooked. That didn't change when the league announced its Pro Bowl selections. 6 members of the Dallas offense made it, none from the defense.
We were the #1 defense in the land. We were sacking folks. We were chasing teams down. No one could run on us. So Pro Bowl announcements, it was just ridiculous.
The defense used the Pro Bowl snub as fuel for the playoffs. It was the Cowboys' first postseason game in Texas in nearly 10 years, and Ken Norton Jr. made the most of it.
We don't get too many chances, baby. We don't get too many chances. Let's do it.
It's amazing when you call a defensive huddle, and we all know that we're kicking their butts. And we just kind of look at each other with a certain sense of accomplishment. We're letting the Eagles know we're back now.
They better stop us. Hey, they better worry about us.
Out of the shotgun, Cunningham chased by Jeffco, pulled down and sold by Jeffco.
We showed them something today. How come we still don't have no defense? #1 defense in the league. #1 defense in the league. Dallas Cowboy defense, unconscious.
Hey, super job. You are 1 game away from the Super Bowl.
To get to the Super Bowl, Dallas would have to win on the road against the San Francisco 49ers, a team that lost only 2 games during the season.
Oh, here's my moment. Championship game, San Francisco, matched up against Cherry Rice. I had that fella there in my locker in college. I dreamed of playing opposite of him in a game of this magnitude.
Roger Staubach was there to go out onto the field for the coin toss, as with some other former players. And I remember visiting with Staubach before the game, and and asking him how he felt, and he said, I'm so nervous, I feel like I need to get my ankles taped, you know, and I'm thinking to myself, good gosh, I mean, if he's not even playing, I mean, how am I supposed to feel right now?
Troy Aikman found his resolve, and the Cowboys jumped on top of the favored 49ers.
With 12:25 remaining in the NFC Championship game.
No, he's not. No, he's not, man.
What many saw as a free pass to the Super Bowl for the Niners, the Cowboys viewed as a passing of the torch.
Steve Young up under center, straight drop, one pressure coming, steps away, throws it, intercepted by Norton. And Ken Norton Jr., the leading tackler on the leading defense, comes away with the ball.
We know that you guys are a lot of tradition and history, but it's over now. It's our turn.
The Cowboys' coronation would have to wait. The 49ers drove 93 yards to pull within 4 points, and there was still over 4 minutes left.
And now Jimmy Johnson's offense has got to make a couple of first downs.
The Cowboys might not only need to burn time, they might need points, Brad.
Our offensive coordinator, Norv, asked Jimmy, how do you want to approach this? Do you want to try to take time off the clock and be conservative, or do you want to throw the football here? And typical Jimmy, without really answering the question, just said, I want to score. And so, okay, well, that's all Norv had to hear. So on first down, we called 896F flat. We've got a post on one side and a curl on the other. Micah had been the guy running the post route. But every time we had called it, I'd pretty much thrown the ball to the curl to Alvin Harper. So here we are, I call 896F flat.
And by the time before he got 6 out, I've already taken off out of the huddle, and I'm headed to Alvin's spot. Forget this, Alvin. I'm going over here to catch this curl route. I'm thinking, hey, man, this game on the line. I'm the one more ready for this than anybody.
4:14 to play in this football game, and the Cowboys come out for the biggest drive in probably 12 years.
So I get underneath the center, and I see that the 49ers are showing blitz. And I know that because of the blitz, the post is really where the ball should go.
And he snaps the ball. And I come off line, I remember I run the route, I hook up, and I'm looking for the ball. He threw the ball backside to Alvin Harper.
Caught, 35, Harper's breaking away, Harper's got midfield.
Alvin Harper sprinting up the football field with my football. And I dreamed about this moment, looking at me sprinting up the football, and I was like, man, you blew it. You blew it.
Harper's got the 20, Harper's got the 10-yard line. Wow.
Oh, what a play. My goodness, what a play.
Michael was just, as happy as he was that we made this big play, he was just sick, thinking that should have been his ball. But what's interesting is I don't know that we get the same coverage if Michael had been the guy over there running that route.
Blue 88!
An Aikman touchdown pass to Kelvin Martin sealed the win and the NFC Championship.
Touchdown! Touchdown, Cowboys!
This team's going to Pasadena. The Cowboys are going to a Super Bowl.
That was a great feeling. You believed you can do it, but you can't believe this moment's happening. You're going to the Super Bowl. Man, we are actually going to a Super Bowl.
Hey, fantastic. Every single one of you. I'm not just talking about these last 60 minutes. I'm talking about the quarterback schools, the mini camps, the training camp. Everybody, you did one hell of a job. And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
He said it, and we just roared, How about them Cowboys? Those of us who were in the lean years remember the 1-15s and the Redskins and the Giants and the Eagles just killing us and saying, you know, the Cowboys are nothing. And all of a sudden, Coach broke out with, how about them Cowboys? How about those Cowboys now, you know? That's what it's really saying. How you like us now?
Troy Aikman had a near-perfect day, completing 13 of 16 passes in the second half. But Jimmy Johnson proved once again that no star is more important than the team.
There were a number of interviews that I was asked to do following that game against the 49ers, and so I was trying to accommodate as many people as I could. And I finally got showered up, and I went to go get on the bus, and the bus is pulling out and leaving. Jimmy, like he had done with Michael Irvin earlier in the season, they said, Coach, Troy's not on the bus. He says, I don't care. Shut the door. We're out of here. I mean, we won the NFC Championship game. We're going to the Super Bowl, and Jimmy still wouldn't wait for me. I had to ride the media bus to go get back onto the plane.
The Dallas Cowboys had 2 weeks to prepare for Super Bowl 27 in the Rose Bowl. Plenty of time to get ready for the Buffalo Bills, and plenty of time to soak up the limelight.
We were Hollywood. First of all, we thought we were a Hollywood team anyway, and now we are actually in Hollywood, man. We had a great week.
They were Hollywood in Hollywood, dressed like Miami Vice. But this was all new to Dallas. The Bills had been to the Super Bowl the last 2 years, and many thought their experience would win out over the Cowboys' youth.
They've been there 2 times, but I wouldn't call losing twice an advantage.
I think we were so excited that we beat the 49ers. I think that was kind of our Super Bowl game. The fact that we beat the great 49ers with Jerry Rice and Steve Young, we beat that team. Who were the Buffalo Bills? You know, we beat the 49ers.
The players fantasized about their Super Bowl moment.
It's a wobbly pass. It's picked off by the shark.
But nothing could prepare them for the moment when Super Bowl Sunday finally arrived.
When we hit that tunnel and those 100,000 people, whoa, and they were right here. It seemed like that whole stadium was right here. It's like my knees slipped. They just buckled. Boom.
Oh, you got butterflies or something. That's big, right? It is big. It's awfully bright out here. Oh, yeah. It's a lot of damn people, huh?
I looked at him. I said, did you feel that? He said, yeah. Shut up. Because we knew, if they knew we were nervous, then the whole football team was in trouble.
Let's get what they come to see. Let's give them a show, baby.
The Cowboys quarterback from UCLA, number 8, Troy Aikman.
When I was introduced and ran out of the tunnel, I had this wave of emotion and really what this game was all about and how different it was.
In the biggest game of his career, Troy Aikman delivered an MVP performance.
Going for the end zone. Nobody taking the 2, takes it in. Touchdown, Cowboys.
I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback throw like Troy threw that day. It was like no one is going to stop this from happening.
Aikman passed for 273 yards and 4 touchdowns, 2 of them to Michael Irvin.
Call a post corner, and I run the route and I break out of it early. I was anxious. It was Super Bowl. I was nervous, and I saw Troy getting ready to throw the ball. Now, if I see him throwing the ball, then I would imagine the DB seeing him because he's turning and running. And I was like, oh, man, I messed up. If he gets in here and intercepts his ball, it's 99 yards to the end zone. So as I jumped up, I threw my leg up to try to shield this guy away from the ball. And all I can remember thinking when I landed, just lunged towards the end zone. I was early, but it made it a beautiful play. It made it a beautiful play, man, and until this day, I love seeing that play.
The Cowboys' defense, overshadowed all year, never gave Buffalo a chance. Ken Norton knocked Jim Kelly out of the game in the second quarter, and the defense forced a Super Bowl record 9 turnovers.
I don't think we ever thought in our wildest dreams that we would get that many turnovers. We were fortunate enough to recover them, score, and keep scoring.
In the end, the only mistake the Cowboys made was celebrating a little too early.
Sacked by Jethro, and fumble, and Leon Lett picks it up to the 40. Oh, look out, here he goes. Here comes the 10 to the 20. Oh, Leon Lett has it back out of his hand. It's a fumble. It's a fumble. He had it knocked out of his hand. It's not going to be a touchdown. No, it's not.
Leon came to the sideline, and I said, man, what happened? He said he was watching the Jumbotron, and he was trying to do Michael Irvin, where he put the ball out across the goal line. And he didn't see Don Beebe.
Don Beebe caught him from behind and knocked it out of his hand. Oh, Leon! Look at him.
And at the time, it would have been a Super Bowl record for points. For 52 of them, it's hard to be upset about that. At that point, we were so happy because we realized what had happened. We were going to be champs.
The Cowboys are back on top of the mountain now. They were there in the 70s, fell off in the 80s. They're back on top now, and they should stay there a while.
Wow. What a ride it's been. Troy Aikman's the MVP. Jimmy Johnson's taken his team from the absolute worst to the absolute best in 4 years. And Dallas, your Cowboys are the champions.
Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson had reached the goal they set 4 years earlier. America's team was a champion again.
For me, when you're a #1 pick as a quarterback, you pretty much understand that that organization drafted you to win a world championship. I just remember thinking, no matter what happens, I came through and delivered what I was brought here to do. It was a great feeling and a great thing to be a part of.
That parade, I don't think I've ever been a part of anything like that before. Confetti was all over the place. We had our jerseys on, and there were people everywhere. On the tallest buildings in Dallas, way up high, we could barely see them. They were waving and screaming, "Hey, Kenny!" That parade was just special.
We were more than a football team. We all started at the bottom, and we worked it all to the top, together. People say, yeah, all of them are just as sweet. The second one was as sweet as the first, and the third one was as sweet as the second. All of those are lies. There's nothing like the first one. Nothing. That was our first time saying we were champions. There's nothing like it.